Alright, so our first question here, we have 9 decimeter equals to what? Looking from this hint here, 10 decimeters will give us what? 1 decimeter. And here we are having what? 9 what? Decimeter. What is this telling you? If 1 decimeter gives us 10 centimeter, then how many centimeter will 9 decimeter give us? This is just a simple calculation. 9 decimeter times what? 10. Because here we have 1 to give us what? 10. Therefore, 9 will give us how many? That is 9 times 10. Because here we have 1. 1 times 10. 1 will give us what? 10 centimeter, right? Now, if 1 will give us 10 centimeter, that means 2 centimeter should give us what? 2 times 10. 9 decimeter should give us what? 9 times 10, which will give us what? 90 what? Centimeter. So our answer here will be what? 9 times what? 10, which will give us what? 90 centimeter. Please, if after watching this video you still have any question, please kindly call me so that I can give solution to that question. Okay, let's continue. Now we have here meter equals to what? Dash decimeter. Remember what I told you. D, D stands for what? 10. That means this 10 what? 10 what? Decimeter. From here we have what? 10 decimeter. D is actually what? Standing for what? 10. That's to tell you that we have what? 10 decimeter to give you what? 1 meter. Now the second question here says what? How meter equals to what? How many decimeter? We already know that this D stands for what? 10. So this is simply telling us what? 10 what? Decimeter will give us what? 1 meter. Do you understand? Now let's look at the next question. We have what? 7 decimeter equals to what? Dash centimeter. We can simply say that 7 decimeter equals to dash centimeter. From this our hint here, we have 10 centimeter makes 1 decimeter. 1 decimeter makes 1 centimeter. Do you see? Now we have here 1 centimeter will give us what? 100 centimeter. 1 decimeter will give us what? 10 decimeter. 1 decimeter will give us what? 10 centimeter. Now here we have 7 decimeter will give us how many centimeter? That you simply say what? 7 times 10. Seeing that 1 decimeter gives us 10 centimeter. What are we going to do? We are going to simply say, since 1 will give us 10, then 7 will give us what? 7 times what? 10, which will give us what? 70 what? Centimeter. So here we have what? 70 centimeter. Now let's look at the next question. 200 centimeter equals to what? Dash meter. 200 centimeter equals to what? Dash meter. Now, the first thing you should look at is what? This centimeter. Centimeter. What did I tell you? Cent represents what? 100. Cent represents what? 100. Now, 100 cents from our hint here. 100 centimeter. Cent is actually telling you this 100, right? 100 centimeter gives you what? 1 meter. Now, when we now have 200 centimeter, that is telling you that 2 times what? The 100 cent. Remember, cent is this 100, right? Centimeter, right? Which gave us what? Now, remember these two. From our hint here, we have 100 centimeter to give us 1 meter. Now, since we are having 2 here, it will give us what? 2 times 100. It will give us what? Since 100 centimeter gives us 1 meter here, now we are going to have what? 200 what? 200 centimeter will basically give us what? 2 meters. Why is it giving us 2? because of this what? 2 sign. This 2 multiplied by the 100. From here, we have 100 centimeter will give us 1 meter, right? Right? 100 centimeter will give us 1 meter. Now, if we now have 200, that means 2 times what? 100 what? Centimeter. Okay, let's use this live situation now. If they said 2 chicken will give us 1 goat, right? 2 chicken will give us 1 goat. That is simply telling you now, for you to have 2 goats, you must have therefore 4 what? Chicken. Since 2 chicken will give us 1 goat, therefore for us to have 2 goats, we are now going to have what? 4 chicken. Okay, let us use money for instance now. I gave you 50 euros to give us what? 100 what? Euros. That means 50 euros plus 50 euros to give us what? 100 euros. Now, when we now want to have 200 euros, are we not going to have 50 euros into 4? That is 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50, which will give us what? 200 euros. Now, we have here 100 centimeter equals to what? 1 meter. Now, when we now have 200 centimeter, 2 times 100, which will give us what? 2 meters. Now, the next question we have here is what? 2 dm, that is this 2 decimeter equals to how many centimeter? 2 decimeter equals to how many centimeter? Now, this is where you are going to take your answer from. I always remember 1 decimeter will give us what? 10 centimeter. 1 decimeter will give us what? 10 centimeter. So since 1 decimeter gives us 10 centimeter, basically 2 decimeter is going to be what? 2 times 10, which will give us what? 20, right? Since 1 decimeter gives us what? 10 centimeter, then 2 decimeter will give us what? 2 times 10, which will give us what? 20 what? Centimeter. Let's look at the next question here. Now we have 9 meters equals to how many decimeter? 9 meters equals to how many decimeter? Now, this is a simple question now, because from what I've told you there, des, remember D stands for what? 10, right? Now 10 decimeter will give us what? 1 meter. From here, 10 what? 10, remember this deci means 10. 10 deci, this deci is actually telling you that for you to have this meter here, which is this meter here, for us to have this meter, we must have what? 10 of this. This deci simply is telling us we must have 10. 10 decimeter equals to what? 1 meter. Now, for us to have 9 meters, we are going to have what? Since 10 decimeter gives us 1 meter, therefore 9 meters, that is actually 9 times what? 10. 9 times 10, which will give us what? 90 decimeter. 90 decimeter. Please, if you have any question or you see any, if you have any questions to ask, please ask me, chat me up after watching this video, or you come across any video or any question on your textbook, please kindly give it to me to solve so you can understand. God bless you.